Hey you guys, this is a graphing video. So this is actually one of my posters that I've got in my classroom. So this is for graphing systems of inequalities. So we have two inequality statements. I highlighted the blue one as the blue line right there, and then the red one is the red line right there. So as you can see, my first inequality statement is y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. So I've graphed that part. So again, if you don't know how to graph the inequalities, I do have a couple of other videos that you can look at. This one is a solid line because it does have a line underneath the inequality statement. So a line underneath it indicates that it is a solid line. The other one does not have a line underneath it, so it's a dashed line, and it does not have a y-intercept, so that means it starts at 0, 0. So you can see that's the origin right there. And then I've graphed the graph with a 1/2 slope. So these are the two lines without any shading on them. So I'm going to show you how to do the shading portion of each of these, and we will work through them in the different colors so that you can use them. And again, if you do need other videos, there are some other videos on how to graph and use a test point to figure out the answers. So we are going to start with the first one, the blue line. So the blue line does not go through 0, 0. So because it doesn't go through 0, 0, I'm going to use 0, 0, 0 as a test point for that inequality statement. So 0 is the x, 0 the y. I'm plugging them in. So you can see, I'm going to do this a little bit farther away so you can see it. So you plug 0 in for y, and you rewrite that inequality statement that I have up here. And then we have 2 times our x coordinate, which would also be 0. And we do plus 1. Again, 0, 0 is the easiest if you can use it. If it's not on the line, don't ever use a point on the line because that doesn't help you decide which side to shade on. So now when I see this is going to be 0 plus 1. And we consolidate, and we get that 0 is greater than 1. So that is a false statement. That is incorrect. So I look at the blue line, and now the blue line, the 0, 0 would be below it. So that is not a true statement, so I would be shading up on top. So I'm just going to shade it in yellow so you can kind of see the shading aspect. So there's the shading. Highlighters are great with doing these, so if you have highlighters, I would highly suggest, if you don't have them, get them so that you can use them. And if you use Desmos or a graphing calculator, then you'll see this pretty easily. So that's that side. That's the side that you shade. Again, it is because it is a false statement. So the side that you had that point, which was 0, 0, is over on this side of the line. So you want to shade the opposite side since it's a false statement. Now that I've completed that one, I'm going to go over to this one. Now 0, 0 is one of the points. So since I can't use that point, I'm going to go with something easy. 1, 1. If I look at 1, 1, that is not on this line. 1, 1 is right up here. So that is this side of this line. So I can use that as a good test point because it's easy numbers and it falls on one side or the other of the line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing this equation or the inequality. So if I use 1 for my y, and I do 1/2 times 1, then I can solve this problem. So 1/2 times 1, easy enough, 1/2. And then I look at the statement, is 1 greater than 1/2? And the answer is yes, this is true. So I look at where 1, 1 was. 1, 1 is up here. That is the test point for it. So since it is a true statement, I'm going to shade on that side of the line, which is the higher point. So this is the upper point. And so I shade up here. And what you're going to notice is that there's overlap. So all this spot right here that's now turning orange here is now considered points of overlap. So where you see the two colors combining, that is where my answer statements fall. Now, be careful here, because that's your answer. So you can see there's a yellow shaded spot. That's just for the first answer set. This pink spot, which is what I just did right here, those are only answers that meet the requirement for the red line. But anything around here, it includes the blue line because the blue line is a solid line. So anything that's on that line will be inclusive in it. Then right here, it kind of veers off this way. Does not include the points that are on that red line because those are dotted and they do not include it. So if you were asked to give an example of an answer that would meet the requirements for both of these, anything up here would work. So you could say -2, +2. You could say -8, +6. anything you want. Up here, down here, just do not include anything on that red line. If you'd like more questions like this, you can find them on my YouTube channel, You Want Algebra. Check these out under the Systems of Inequalities.